Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hey Sarah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I was on the phone with Miklos. He's like, I'm driving. Can you host? I'm like, sure.
Sure.
Panic.
Oh,
Yeah, no problem.
goodness. I'm only on for half the call. I had a previously scheduled call at 1 o'clock that I couldn't change. So I'm gonna have to jump at about 12:55, but I'll do my
Hey, no worries. Yes, hopefully we can plow through these and
hope,
get some done.
hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. There's some good ones today.
Mhm.
They're all good ones, I
They are.
guess.
They're all good.
This is quite the process. This is the first time I've been involved with this, and it's almost a little overwhelming.
It is. Last time we had 530 some. It was like, ugh.
Yikes, we only have 200-ish,
Yeah,
a little over 200 this time, so not as bad, but hi, Tom.
interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Hi, Grace.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready for Christmas?
No, I'm never ready for Christmas, but that's okay. We have we've made it a tradition to travel for Christmas. So instead of giving gifts, we travel. So we're leaving on the 13th for the Caribbean. So
Oh, nice. How
go on
fun.
a cruise. We get back on Christmas Eve. So
Mhm.
I guess I am ready for Christmas. We just haven't left yet. We just haven't done it yet.
That's a great idea.
It's fun to make memories with the kids instead of stuff. We don't need more stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yep. So,
cool.
I did not know that I had to update my CRs on the status and the vote result. And I have to admit it, I don't know how to do that. I tried.
Well, I'm not sure I'm very good help, but I can help you walk through those. You did send me an email and I have it and it's on my to-do list. I just haven't got to it. So maybe later this afternoon I can
Oh,
work with
yes. That would be wonderful. Thank you so
you.
much.
Okay. Yeah. We can learn this together. I was just telling Joe how I'm learning a lot.
You're doing an excellent job.
It's a pretty
Fantastic.
easy process though. If you go into the main page there and click on the TRC evaluations, there's a submit evaluation button. When you click that, it just opens up a form, and all you have to do really is fill that form out.
Okay, hold on a second. So let's say,
So
let's
if
For me,
you're
see.
if you're on the
look how
change request
accessible.
page on the
Look, I'll
left
share
side,
my.
you'll see where the change request, TRC evaluations, TSC evaluations, and committee applications.
Okay, so Sarah, are you sharing? Okay,
There
yes.
you go.
I'm sharing.
Yep. So if you go down one to where it says TRC evaluations and click that link,
Hmm.
and then up in the top right, hit the blue button that says submit TRC evaluation.
Oh,
And then you find your change request.
Yep.
So whatever number it is.
Whatever number, and then you just
Mhm.
basically fill in all the information that you can. Some of it you may not know the answer to,
Right.
mhm.
And then
but
fill in this change request review criteria
yep.
and save and save and save. Impact of change, summary of the report, and then anything that you have, comments, pros, cons, those types of things. So, and then you just hit submit when you've got that all saved, and then it's good.
Okay. Let me, while we wait, I guess I'll try it.
Yeah, better than the old method. We used to have a fillable Word document or something that we had to fill out and then save it and send it back in. And this is a little nicer.
Wonderful.
All right. It's still morning where I am. Is it morning where everybody else is? No, it's a little afternoon, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say good morning, but that's not a universal fit anymore.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen just to see. I thought I understood what you're doing, and then now I'm trying. Sorry, are we ready, or I don't want to disrupt?
You can share your screen.
Okay. Sure. Share screen.
We are waiting a little bit. Miklos is in traffic. He's caught in traffic, so I'm gonna try to head it up until he gets here.
Okay,
just a
Sarah,
few-
we do have a quorum.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Dewey.
Then
I
I'll
was
pause.
just okay. I was just looking at that. So I'm still sharing my screen, right?
You are.
Okay, cool. I can't see it the way that it's set up here, but we were just walking through. So welcome everybody. Glad you're here. We were just walking through, those of us on the TRC, how to submit a new TRC evaluation. So if you go to your your CMAC website, you can go to change requests. You can click on this side over here where it says TRC evaluations. So you click TRC evaluations and then submit a TRC evaluation. You find your change request. Wherever it is, fill out all the information that you have and save that. So that's how, if we've gone through your CR, for those of you facilitators that are on here, if we've gone through your CR, please make sure to remember to submit your evaluations so that we have those all in there for the vote on the code conference. Okay, we have a quorum, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, Miklos put me in charge for a minute, which is dangerous, is what we're going to say. But we're going to start with the first one that we have. So let's find our first one. And I think I have it actually pulled up, but it's on a different screen. So, oh, we still have people in our waiting to jump on. Okay. And I believe this one is, so can you see the correct, do I have the right one pulled up on your screen? Can you see the new optional code requirements?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Joe. Keep me in line here because I can't see what you're seeing. All right. This was Kevin, and Kevin, I just admitted you on here. This was your CR. If you want to review that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So this one is, this CR has not been sent to a TSC. There haven't been any public comments on it. Essentially, this CR proposes a new section of the MAC that allows for the alternative or optional use of a combination of limited rate, like 12 gallons per minute per square foot sand filters with 24-inch minimum bed depths, regenerative media filters following a specific pre-coat process, along with the steady injection of an NSF 50 or 60 certified polyaluminum chloride pack coagulant combined with no usage of CYA, a minimum free available chlorine of 2 parts per million for pools, 3 parts per million for spas, no bromine or bromide containing products, and a pH of 7.0 to 7.4. The submitter presents that this combined system, all those elements together, would improve filtration efficiency by 100%, comparing the best possible results of a standard high rate sand filter versus a high efficiency combination system with the pack. There's a very, very thorough attachment that illustrates the case for these treatment systems. And I would encourage everybody to take the time to read the presentation. I think the submitter makes a very compelling case for this combined method, but I'm a little unsure on what adding this section to the MAC would actually achieve. As far as I can tell, I don't think there's anything here that somebody couldn't do now without this being in the MAC, and it more just outlines the process to achieve this. So I was a little unclear on that. However, there's kind of what I would consider maybe a companion CR to this 4737001 that addresses the same concept in the design section, but that one also includes an incentive of allowing a facility to increase their turnover by 40% if they use this system versus a standard system. So maybe it's that this needs to be here to support the design standard with that incentive. But that's kind of a summary of it, of the CR itself.
Great summary, Kevin. Thank you. Thoughts, ideas, questions on this one for the committee? I like the idea of having some language in there. It may be allowed, like you said, Kevin, it may be allowed already by the MAC, but adding this language makes it more apparent that this is something that you can use, and then it does give guidelines and ways to use these new optional filtration requirements. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree, Sarah. As it's presented, it's not a new requirement. It's meant as optional, and we kind of already have a section for that with our secondary treatment. And it maybe can be presented that same way as not a requirement, but hey, here's some extra stuff you can do to make it even be better.
I think that's the intention of this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, with that in mind, I don't think that it would, rock the industry too much, because we're not saying you have to do this. We're just educating folks on, hey, this is some ways you can improve what you already have, ways you can supplement the way you already do things. And we already do that in the MAC to, some extent.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful. It's an education piece.
I like it too. Yeah.
So where are the MAC proposed numbering, the nomenclature for where it would fit in? Is it under supplemental treatments?
Yeah, it's under section 5, right after sorry, I had that pulled up and then I switched to a different tab. That's at 5.7. Seven, 3, 4, 7.
57347.
Yeah, I can look it up too. It might take me a minute though.
Yeah, sorry, I'm scrolling. So
Faster than me.
it's right at the end of right after chlorine dioxide, clarifiers, flocculants, defoamers, and then pH, just before feed equipment, under the other sanitizers, disinfectants, or chemicals
That
section.
says 573.
57347.
5734 is pH.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is.
So maybe moving it to a different section would be a better fit, but I do think it's a good CR.
Right.
Joe, what section do you think we should put it in?
If
Feed equipment.
if the TRC approves the CR,
Uh-huh.
the better place for it to be would be under 572. So probably 5725 would be the starting numbering.
Yeah,
Okay.
572 is the section on filtration, operation, and maintenance for filtration. 5725, yeah, I think that would fit, Dewey.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've had discussion on the CR. Do we have anybody that does not support this?
I do support this, but I do have another question. Would we have some supplemental information that could be added to the annex as well? Kevin, I think you said there was a whole bunch of supporting documents.
Yeah, there is an entire presentation attached to this that would probably make some very good annex information.
All right,
So
good.
just kind of as a point of order, we are assembling the annex committee now. We just put out a call for committee members. And this is one of those that would be flagged for annex discussion.
I
So
like
we would
that.
work with the submitter on crafting that language for the annex.
Okay. Well, hearing no voices against or for not supporting this, I am going to go ahead and call this one supported, and then we can move to the next one. Sound good?
Before we move on, I just want to pause, and I want to thank the TRC. I'm not prone to injecting myself in TRC discussions because I feel it's important to not be seen as swaying the TRC. This is a biggie. This is one that moves the needle. We've been kind of stuck with filtration for a very long time, and this CR, if approved by membership, will move the needle for the industry, which is one of the things that the MAC has always done, which is bettering and protecting public health and identifying new strategies to improve healthy swimming. So I just want to thank you as a TRC for being open to this CR and what it means for the future.
Yeah, I think it should be noted too that this is helping us get caught up with some stuff that's already being done internationally. I think this is practiced throughout Europe and other parts of the world. You know, we're a little bit behind in that aspect.
I agree.
Yep,
So I think this
absolutely.
is good. Yay, yay us, right? That's what we're going to say. Kevin, the one that you said that was similar to that is also on the docket. So 47347. Do we want to review that one?
I think it makes sense to review. Well, as long as we're talking about this, it probably makes sense to head to that one next.
Cool.
So this one is, and again, if I'm understanding all of this correctly, this one is just under the design. And I think the big challenge with getting folks to utilize these PAC systems because they have to run at a slower filtration rate, it increases the cost to build a facility. So my interpretation of this CR is that it is an attempt to try to limit that impact by allowing an increase of up to 40% in turnover time based upon the fact that you're still achieving actually a better end result, but trying to make this a little bit more cost effective in order to incentivize new facilities to build this way. And James, did I understand that correctly? If I can ask him?
Yeah, that's all correct.
Okay. So that's what this one is. It's the same thing, but it's trying to put an incentive into the design section to incentivize so that there's not a cost prohibition to moving towards a system like this. Again, this one has not been sent to a TSC. There have been no public comments, and the same general presentation material applies to this one as well.
Just as a point of order, if the TRC approves this CR, I would recommend numbering be 4737. That would create a dedicated section for high efficiency filtration under supplemental treatment systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
and I guess go ahead, Joe.
No, my question was on the first entry there for the incentives. To me, that's more of an annex language piece than it is a code piece. I like the explanation. I think it's valuable. I'm not sure it's code language necessarily.
I think that's more of the explanation. The code language is to allow the increased turnover, because if we're not allowing that in the code, then there is no incentive to move to this other than somebody simply wanting to design and being willing to pay for a much larger system than what's needed.
Correct. I just think that should be moved. That I don't know that that should be actually in the code, but more in the annex. I like the language. I just think it needs to be in the annex, not in the code.
Good thoughts. Any other thoughts? Again, this supports the one that we just supported, I guess, just more of the design phase. I did have a question as far as turnover. So it's giving them a 40% turnover. Do we still have to be within that 6-hour turnover if that's what it is? Or is that saying that we can have a 10-hour turnover with that 40%?
Yeah, I read that it's allowing a 10-hour turnover when this combination of items is employed versus a current standard filtration system.
Okay, and that's how I read it too. I just wanted to verify. And if we have better filtration, I have no problem with the higher turnover. I think that's good. Anybody not supporting this CR? Going once?
I just have a question.
Okay.
Would it contradict what the requirements are already that are in the MAC as far as turnover times? Because people love looking at those times. Well, people say, oh, I don't have to run it at 4 hours or 6 hours. I just run it at 10.
They would have to prove somehow that they have this filtration system, the high efficiency filtration and chlorination. So they would have to say, hey, I've got this filtration system. So now I can do the 10-hour turnover. But I think they'd have to prove that first in order for it to be allowed.
Yeah, does the proposed change here, I'm just thinking ahead that maybe we've got to make sure we have language in there that you have to follow what's already required. And this is only allowed unless you can do A, B, C, and D.
I believe that's how it's worded.
Okay.
The way I read it, that's absolutely the way it's worded. This is only allowed in the case of all of the qualifications of that system that we talked about earlier have been achieved. You can't just throw a sand filter on and do it. It's got to be the right flow rate and the pack injection and everything else.
That's how I read it too.
All right, great.
But good question, Joe. I like it. Okay, I think we're gonna say this one's supported because I didn't hear anybody saying they didn't want to or anybody abstaining. Just James, you get to abstain because it's your CR. Other than that, I think we're good to support this. Good. All right, Kevin, it's your show today for a minute. Do we want to go to the next one, 4.7.3.3.3.1.1? I'll pull that up and put it on the screen. Is that the one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at a different one, but this one is, the UV validation standard discrepancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this one, again, has not been sent to a TSC. There are no comments on it. But essentially what it is seeking to do is add to the validation standards, the EPA ultraviolet disinfectant guidance manual and WEF IUVA ultraviolet disinfection for wastewater publication. That's the part that's being added, shall be considered recognized national standards in the MAC. So it's adding that plural as well. So basically in section 47333.1, 2 validation standards are listed. A new one was added in the MAC 4th edition, but the subsection was not updated to reflect the change. The new validation standard should be listed to avoid confusion and better protect public health by avoiding the use of the wrong standard for interactive play venues. So this is all this CR really appears to be doing is just making a language change or making it congruent with the MAC 4th edition changes on third-party validation. So I think this one's pretty straightforward and should be a yes vote.
I agree. Just adding more language to clarify. I like it. Anybody else? Any other comments, thoughts on this one? All right. So is there anybody that does not want to support it? We're going with the negative part of it today. Going once, going twice. I think this one is supported also. Cool. Let's chip away at these. We are rocking it. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. So next we've got 473333001.
Okay.
And this is UV continuation language clarification for splash pads. This one again has not been sent to a TSC. There have been no public comments. But basically, it says that the current language is not clear. Current MAC language implies the UV system circulates water. This CR offers language clarification on how water is moved through the system. And that really is the crux of it, is if you read the way this is currently written, it kind of implies that the UV system is circulating the water, which it, of course, isn't doing. So this strikes this language, it strikes the UV shall continue to circulate a minimum amount of water back through the tank if required by the manufacturer for warm-up and cool-down purposes, and replaces it with the pumps shall continue to circulate a minimum amount of water back through the UV system returning to the tank if required by the manufacturer for warm-up and cool-down purposes. So pretty simple. It really just corrects some language that is incorrect and misleading. So I think this one's also pretty straightforward and definitely recommend a yes vote on it.
I agree also with it just clarifies the language. It's not the UV system that's circulating, it's the pumps that are circulating. So I think that's good. Anybody against this or not supporting this? Going once, going twice. Okay, we'll call that one supported too. Perfect.
All right, the next one is 4733410001, ozone secondary treatment. This one has also not been sent to a TSC. There are no public comments. Essentially, this one, that part of the MAC specifies that the CT inactivation value must be determined. This is done by multiplying the ozone concentration times the contact time. However, the MAC does not specify currently how the contact time is determined. So the added text solves that problem. So basically, the text that would be added to the end here is as follows. It would specify, it would say the ozone contact time in minutes is determined by dividing the volume in gallons of water in the reaction contact tank by the flow rate in gallons per minute through the reaction contact tank. Again, I think this one does help to clarify. I think it's pretty straightforward and recommend a yes vote.
Great. Any comments? Thoughts on that one? Okay. Is there anybody that does not want to support this change request? Going once. Okay. I think we'll support that one too. Perfect. All right. And I think there's one more for you, Kevin.
Yes, this is 4733490001, correct ozone concentration. This also has not been sent to a TSC. There are no public comments. When discussing the concentration of ozone in the air, 1 part per million in air is not equal to 1 milligram per liter. So equating parts per million to milligrams per liter is incorrect and should be corrected. The same error was addressed in a couple other CRs for other areas. And essentially this just adds or specifies by adding language. The language it's adding is in the last sentence, adding by volume ppmv or milligrams per liter per cubic meter of milligram per liter of gaseous ozone. I'm sorry, it's not adding the last part, just the by volume wording there. And there is supporting documentation that I think we've been over before on the other CRs. And again, so I don't think we need to get into that, but we can if needed. But I think this one is also correct, simplistic, and should be a yes vote.
Perfect. Any thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I'm trying to look
Michaelos
back.
is here. Yay, you can take over.
I was gonna let you keep going. 49210.521. That one was withdrawn. And then 49210.521.2 we haven't addressed yet. But I seem to remember in 49210.521 that I don't remember that everyone was on the, somebody if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember that everyone was on the same page for the volume.
I think there was an issue about measuring it. How do you measure it? And I could be wrong on the discussion too.
Yeah, I thought that was a sensor question on a different one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I know that was withdrawn and there was another one. So it's let's see, 4 point. Okay.
UPS is here.
Which one is
I
this
love
one
it.
that we're looking at? 473349.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we have it. Okay. So no, we haven't addressed it. The other one was withdrawn, and then we were going to address it at a later time. So okay, never mind. So anyone with a scientific background is I couldn't tell you offhand whether that that testing volume is correct. Does anybody know? I think I remember we were trying to find testing equipment that verified that those volumes were correct. I remember Google searching this.
Yeah, I remember that too. I think this one's okay. I think there might have been an issue with the last one.
Okay.
I-
Okay.
Yeah, because this one is really just the definition, not the method, I believe.
Agreed.
Okay, and it is saying part per million or milliliters per cubic meter, which is volume. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I had to think through this out loud.
Any other discussion on this one? It seems pretty straightforward, like Kevin said. Anybody that does not want to support this one? Hearing no voices, we'll call this one supported too. Cool. All right. The next one that we have, so Kevin, you're off the hook for a minute, but thank you for your presentations. They were excellent.
No problem. Thank you.
The next one I have is Joe, 6.4.2.2.3. And I'll pull that up so we can see it. And it's about signs. Can everybody see that one okay?
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
I think I am assigned to that one.
Oh, you are? Okay,
Yeah.
Grace, I have the wrong person then. Go ahead, Grace.
Sure. So then basically, this is where section where you have the pool rules, the health notice, the load, pool load, etc. And the submitter wants to add number 16, which is a warning. The filter in use at this aquatic venue was only certified to remove an average of 21.4% of particles by NSF ANSI standard 50, which could greatly increase your risk of contracting a waterborne disease from chlorine-resistant human pathogens like Giardia, crypto, toxoplasma, and I can't even say the last word. So this CR is based on public has a right to know the risk associated with swimming in any public aquatic venue that doesn't have, good removal of pathogens. And study shows that while Sandro cartridge filters remove an average of 31 and 36% of crypto, respectively, DE or perlite have shown to remove at an average of 99.5 and 99.9% of crypto, respectively. So the filter performance can vary from 21.4% to greater than 99% and submitter believes each venue using a Sandro cartridge filter should be required to post signs at entrance warning the public of any elevated risk factors at that venue. So my thought was that I really love the data and public should be aware of the risk, but I wasn't sure if this is the best location to let public be aware of the risk. Looking at other rules listed in the section, I can see the direct correlation between the risk factors and impact, and most of it, I as a patron customer can do something about it, like don't have glass on the deck. Don't drink water, don't swim if you have open wounds or diarrhea. But this one sort of makes me feel like maybe I just should not go to pool at all unless there's a sign that says that we have DE or perlite. And so, and I feel like there's always a risk of going to a public going to a public pool because there are many factors that contribute to waterborne illness. And so, therefore, even after being warned, I'm not quite sure about the true risk and how this sign is going to help me make informed decision. That was my thought on it.
I like it, Grace. Thank you.
Yep, well stated. Yeah, I think because of Grace's, I think Grace, what you had said, I would not support the CR.
I do think there's a place for this warning somewhere, though. I do think that this is a good warning and people should be aware of it, but I don't know, like it may be a scare factor a little bit in this case, placed with their yeah, I don't know. I do think there is a place for it, but I don't know that this is the correct place.
Yeah, I agree, Sarah. I think that I'm just trying to envision the reaction of
Yeah.
families going to the community pool when they read this. And I think the real risk is poop in the pool, not necessarily, the filter. Because if you have a filter that only operates at 21%, but the waters doesn't have any of this stuff in it, you don't have to worry about Giardia and crypto. This way this is worded kind of implies that these bugs are in there and they're no matter what, and they're only being filtered out 21% of the time. They're only going to be in there when someone sharts in the pool.
And I think the general public understands poop in the pool more than they understand cryptosporidium and giardia and toxoplasma and all these things. They understand that if I poop in the pool, then these things are there, more than these scientific terms.
Does it say don't poop in the pool anywhere?
No, but I think we should add it. I
do too.
agree.
It says don't drink the pool water, right? Yeah, don't spit or don't swallow or spit water.
And then number 7 says they have to take a shower, and we know they're not really doing that. So my recommendation would be add that to number 7, shower before entering the pool, because we have a sand filter.
Mm, I
think
like that idea.
It puts it back on the public. It's their butt water.
Butt water.
Can we add that? Is that a scientific term? Can we add that?
Absolutely, it's a scientific term.
I love it.
my opinion is I think it's good information. I think could be great at like in the healthy swimming section of like the CDC website or something like that, or creating, you know, marketing collateral around that. I think from an industry perspective, this would be more on the revolutionary side. And I think seeing how, I don't have any numbers to support this, but I would imagine the vast majority of pools in the United States are sand filters. That this would have or could have a dramatic impact on the industry. I think it's too revolutionary at this time.
Is this something we could put in the annex in the filter section?
I think it's good information. Yeah.
Is it already in there?
That I don't know.
In the annex, I mean?
I can look
I don't think so. So, can we move it to the annex then? Is that is that an action?
This could be something the annex committee could consider.
They would have to take a look at it. Yeah. At this point, with the amount of CRs that we have and the time period that we have, we basically just need to vote on the CR as written. So.
All right. I guess we can call for a vote. So all those who do not want to support this, I guess raise your hand, give me a thumbs up. And I can't see everybody, so we might have to take a.
We need to go. Yeah, we probably need to go person to person. Okay. Grace.
I do not support.
I do not support. Joe. Stefaniak.
I do not.
Sarah.
Do not.
Terry.
Do not.
Kevin.
No.
Tom.
Tom doesn't get a vote.
Oh, sorry. Corey put an X, so I'm assuming that's no.
Yep, thank you. No.
Heather?
No.
Joe?
No.
Levi?
No.
I think that's it.
Okay, but I do think there is a place for it in the annex, so we'll put that toward the annex.
I'm going to make that note on the side, and we can see if the annex committee can pick it up.
Love it.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, are we ready for the next one? The next one I have is 6.4.2.2.3.
Okay, so I have that one again.
Awesome. Thanks, Grace.
Sure. So it's another sign in the same section. And then so it is a warning. The aquatic venue uses up to 90 ppm of cyanuric acid, which has been shown by, is that right? 64223-0002.
Yep, I pulled the wrong one up, so I'll pull up the right one. My bad.
It's okay.
There
so
we
I'll
go.
just continue reading. So 16, so adding 16 warning, this aquatic venue uses up to 90 parts per million of cyanuric acid, which has been shown by CDC research to slow chlorine disinfection significantly. US EPA research indicates that the concentration of free chlorine available for pathogens disinfection would be reduced by approximately 144 times by 90 parts per million. of cyanuric with 2 parts per million of chlorine. This means that if 99.9% disinfection occurs in half an hour in a pool without cyanuric acid, then it would take approximately 3 days to achieve that same 99.9% disinfection in a pool with 90% parts per million cyanuric acid, assuming no new pathogens are introduced during those 3 days. Cyanuric acid use could increase your exposure to pathogens by 14,400% and elevate your risk of contracting a waterborne disease from chlorine-resistant human pathogens like Giardia, crypto, and those other technical words. So again, I really love the data and the information, and I agree that 90 parts per million of cyanuric acid is not safe. But again, I'm not sure if this is the best method to warn public concerning the risk. 5.7.3.1.3.2 has cyanuric acid level shall remain at or below 90 parts per million, and I think that that regulation covers it in a way. So I again, like the previous one, I'm not sure this is the right place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure almost all of this is already available in the annex.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Grace's assessment.
Yeah, I think this would be just like the other one, kind of a scary thing for someone who's not as familiar with, the pool chemistry, and cause a lot of confusion.
Agreed.
Yeah, too heavy-handed and the world's longest sign.
That would be a really long
If the
sign.
two of those were together, how big would that sign be?
This would be a waiver that you would have to sign before that nobody actually reads. They just sign that.
It'd have to be a QR code.
There you go.
Take you to a dissertation.
All right. Any other discussion on this one? So is there anybody that wants to support this one? We'll go that way, that direction. Okay. So I hear no voices saying that they're in support. So we'll say that one's not supported. All right. Moving along. The next one is 6.4.2.2.3-004. Let me pull it up.
This is another sign in the same section. 16, warning. This aquatic venue uses a high rate sand filter and or cyanuric acid, which are known to slow the disinfection and removal of human pathogens by up to 14,400%. Sort of similar to the one right before. And then
Yeah, I was just trying to be short on this one. That's the only difference.
I actually like this one better because I think it's in language that the general public can understand. Hey, this one uses a high rate sand filter and or cyanuric acid, so there's a higher risk, 14,400% higher risk. So that's a big number. So I actually like this one better because I think it's more understandable for the general population. Other thoughts?
Is this one also one that could fit well in the annex?
Yeah, I agree that this is better written for civilian consumption. I still think it's on the revolutionary end though.
I agree.
I think as mentioned before, a lot of what's already on the list are action items that people could do or not do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is not an action item. It just is what it is. If they're using these, you can't control that as a bather, as a patron coming in. Okay, any other discussion, thoughts? All right, Nicholas, do you want to do the voting on this one?
Yeah, anyone in support of, or any votes in support this year? Hearing none, do not supported. And for these, I've got, for all these, I've got James that you've abstained as well. And then I have these marked for the annex committee to take a look at them.
Yeah, I was just saying, just put a note for the annex committee, as this is, I think, important information.
Yep.
Cool. Do you want to take over, Mick?
If you want me to, you're doing a great job.
I'll keep going if
Keep
you
it
want
going.
me to.
Keep it going.
we got a good thing going, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is 4.7.1.5.6. And I'm not sure.
I think I've got this one.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Yep, no problem. So this is prohibiting skimmer equalizers. This has been submitted by Dewey on behalf of the ISPSC Harmonization Committee. In the 2021 ISPSC, skimmer equalizers are prohibited, and this seeks to add the language that skimmer equalizers shall be prohibited on all new construction or substantial alteration. So honestly, I was a little surprised to realize that they weren't already not allowed in the Model Aquatic Health Code, honestly. They provide an operational benefit that they can allow an alternate suction path, but only really when routine maintenance is neglected, like the skimmer baskets get full and aren't emptied. But they add an additional suction outlet to the pool that can become an entrapment hazard. So a lot of areas have banned these already. So I think this is, again, a pretty simple one that should be voted yes.
I have a quick question on this one. Is this retroactive? Because there's a lot of pools that have these equalizer lines. It's not retroactive.
It's new construction or substantial alteration.
Yeah, section 4 is not retroactive.
Okay.
It's only new construction or alterations. Dewey, correct me, 5 and 6 would be retroactive.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. So 5 and 6 would be immediate. Section 4 is only for new construction. There's, I think this is great harmonization. There's a lot of misunderstanding with operators on skimmer equalizers, whether they need to have, grates over them, what they're used for, what they are. So I think this is great.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Is there anybody? Oh, go ahead.
Sarah, I'm not seeing this on.
Am I not sharing it?
No. I'm looking on my spreadsheet. I'm not seeing this one. Was this slated for today?
It was in your email.
Okay. Cool.
At least that's where I'm pulling it off of.
No, continue. That's fine.
Cool. So you are, Kevin's in favor of supporting it. Is there anybody that is does not want to support it? Going once, going twice. This one is supported. Cool. All right. Do you have the next? Oh, go ahead.
No, my apologies. I have to jump. I had another call that was scheduled for 1 o'clock that I can't miss. So I hope we still have a quorum. Good job, everybody.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Have a great week.
Yes.
Thanks, Joe.
You too, Joe. Thanks.
Do we still have a quorum? I think we do.
Yes, we do.
Cool. Okay. The next one I have on my list is 4.8.1.6.1.1. Let me pull that one up for everybody. And this is on peninsula decks. And I'm not sure who the facilitator is. Is it Kent?
Yeah, I'm playing catch up. Sorry.
You're good.
I still can't find that one, but I'll find it later.
I think it's Kent. I think all the rest of them that I have are Kent actually on today's, and he's not here today. Do we want to review them without the facilitator thoughts?
Yeah. Yes, we need to move
Forward.
forward. Yeah. So I can go ahead and present. Well, I go ahead and present them.
Cool.
So this is 4.8.16.11. This is the purpose of MAC. He's not placing an upper limit on the width of a wing wall or peninsula. It addresses that a wing wall or peninsula less than 18 inches in width and a wing wall or peninsula that's less than 48 inches are not considered part of the perimeter deck, but does not address that those that are 48 inches or greater. As MAC requires perimeter deck to be a minimum of 48 inches. Once a peninsula is 48 inches or more in width, it should meet all requirements for a perimeter deck. Makes sense to me. Anybody have any thoughts?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
I think so too.
I agree.
Yep. Okay.
So anybody that does not want to support it? Going once, going twice. Okay, this one is supported also. All right, the next one I have is 4.8.1.6.2, and I'll pull that up.
Same reference to the peninsula codes. Annex notes that it would be a function of the width of the wing wall as to whether or not it could be properly constructed. If the pool has a gutter system, the annex states that would likely need 4 feet of width to get a normal trough on either side. Skimmers could achieve this for narrower walls. They can be staggered. There's no reason to allow eliminating the gutter on a peninsula that is 4 feet wider or more. So it's basically saying it's kind of in addition to what we just said. If a wing wall or peninsula is greater than 48 inches, it should meet all the requirements of a deck. If you have a overflow gutter system, it's going to be along the entirety of the wall. So it should be along the entirety of the wing wall or peninsula as well, as long as it's this wide. Might be some issues engineering, but it makes sense to me.
So can I comment on this one? We've had a lot of these proposed in Utah where you're getting a gap in that wing wall of the overflow gutter. And we're trying to figure out, okay, we've got skimmers that can balance that, or is it okay if we just have a gap in that overflow gutter? Is there going to be enough flow? Is there going to be enough circulation to provide the circulation that's needed in that area? And I think less than 48 inches wide is fine to do that in. So I would support this one. Any
Yeah,
other
it's-
discussion?
It sounds like y'all have been through this several times already.
Any other discussion, thoughts?
Let's vote.
Let's vote. Anybody that does not support this one? Going once, going twice. I feel like an auctioneer today. It's supported. That's what we're doing.
Sold.
Cool. Sold. Yeah, supported. Okay, the next one, I will pull it up. I have 4.8.1.6.5 -001. Let me pull that up. And thanks, Mick, for filling in.
Yeah. So this is deck drainage on peninsulas. It's basically saying that peninsulas less than 48 inches are not required to have deck drainage.
It kind of
Cool.
makes sense if we're gonna, since we did approve the other one,
Yeah.
because the other one kind of implied if it's 48 inches or wider, we're considering it a perimeter deck.
Yep.
So I'm all right with this one.
Agreed.
Cool. Any other discussion? Let's vote. Cool. Anybody that does not support this? Hearing nothing, we'll call that one supported too. Cool. The next one, I have 4.8.1.6. Let me call that one up. Next on the auction, that's what I feel like saying every time I pull these up. Next on the auction is depth markers at peninsulas, 4.8.1.6.
Horizontal depth markings and warning signs shall also be required per MAC 4519 if the wing wall or peninsula is designed for bather use.
When would a wing wall or peninsula not be for bather use?
Well, a lot are designed to where the bather use is not a clear. Oh, there's Ken.
Yeah.
A lot excellent. So a lot of wing walls are not designed assuming that people would, I guess, walk on them. I'm assuming that's
Yeah, I
what
was
they
going to say, I
mean by
thought
bather
we
use.
already said they can't walk on it
Right.
unless it's 48 inches or wider.
So I think by bather use, maybe they mean that it's 48 inches or wider, but I think changing the terms and what we've been and bather, the definition means a person at an aquatic venue who has contact with water either through spray or partial or total immersion. So I'm not sure what this one is what this one's trying to
I think what
get
it's trying
to.
to say, if it's 48 inches or wider, then bathers, occupants can have access to that and they can get in and out of the pool from that peninsula only because it's 48 inches or wider and it's now considered a perimeter deck. But
Yeah.
smaller than that, they wouldn't be allowed on it anyway. But if they are allowed on it and they can get in and out of the pool, there should be a sign to let people know how deep it is.
And if it's part of the considered part of the deck, then the signs are going to be required anyways.
That's true.
So unless the intent was something else, I'm not sure that this is necessary.
As worded, I think it's, at least for me, I find it confusing.
Yeah, agreed. I would not support this one. And because I think its intents are already taken care of anyways. but I think because of language, I wouldn't support it.
Any other discussion? Good thoughts. I do think it is confusing with the designed for bather use. Well, what is it designed for if it's not for bather use, right? Should we vote?
Mhm.
Okay, anybody in support of this one? Going once, going twice. This one is not supported. Cool. All right, Kent, you're up. I'm glad you made it. So the next one is yours. So we have 4.12.7. Ooh, I'm skipping one, I think. 4.12.2.10.1. Let me pull that one up.
Okay.
And if you'll review that one for me. Oh, whoops, I
Yeah.
clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Portable slides.
Yeah. This one, I was a little confused by this one because as I read the code, portable slides aren't allowed anyway. But if we think we need to clarify that, it seems to me that the only reason to include this is to clarify that they aren't allowed.
Could that simply be presented in the annex under the part where we already say slides must be anchored to the deck?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Kent. It already implies you can't use a portable one because they're required to be anchored and therefore
Right.
not portable.
Mm-hmm.
Are there situations where they end up anchoring the portable slides?
Unless someone brought one in.
Well, yeah, and I think if a portable slide were to be anchored, it would either need to be part of the original permit or a permit modification to make sure that you have the appropriate splashdown area.
So the one that's pictured here, it has the specifications on there, and it says portable, easily moved by one person, weighs only 275 pounds. That sounds like I would have a hard time moving that. Like, but it does look like it's anchored there. So do we need to be more explicit on that portable sides are prohibited? I think that's what this change request is saying. It doesn't. I have the Mac pulled up right now, and it doesn't explicitly say portable sides are prohibited. Do we need to be more explicit on that? Especially if they're advertising this one as portable, easily moved by one person.
Right. Right.
I don't think it hurts.
Well, I'm not familiar with the ASTM standards for manufacturing construction of slides, but does it talk through that in the ASTM standards?
That would take some more research.
And it doesn't look like these meet ASTM standards, so does it even matter?
Right. I don't think they do. And that one looks like it's someone's backyard. You know?
It does.
Right.
They're very, very nice backyard.
Yeah.
And that one doesn't look like it's anchored to me. This other one does look like it's anchored. But it is advertised as a portable slide.
Right.
I think as written, I don't think I could justify supporting it. And I think
Can we move it to the annex committee?
Yeah, we can. I
kind of like the language. I think it'd be helpful if it wouldn't hurt things.
Yeah.
This is an extra safety step here. We can talk about in the annex.
Any other discussion? I personally am in support of this. I think adding that language, portable slides are prohibited, doesn't hurt anything. So I'm in support of this one, and I may be in the minority, and that's okay. Anybody else in support? We'll go that way.
I'm in support.
I guess I was looking for the code that actually said it has to be anchored. Is there a code? I mean, I was thinking you know, installed according to manufacturer direction might, but then if not, I see that I would have to support in saying portable is not allowed.
Yeah, I'd support that one too.
Well, that's where I think the ASTM standard might speak to that.
Yeah.
It might. I'm not familiar with the ASTM standard. I would have to look it up.
Mhm.
Or is that
Yeah.
more on like the material that it's made of?
No, it's also the design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like we need to take a in-person vote here.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you do that, Mick. Is that all right?
that's fine. That's fine. I'm
Okay.
just looking. I've got a quick like summary of this standard pulled up. I'm just looking to see real quick if it talks to it. It doesn't say. Okay. Grace.
Support.
Okay. I would not support.
Mhm.
Sarah.
Support.
James.
Support.
Kent.
Not support, but yeah, not support.
Terry.
Support.
Kevin.
Support.
Corey.
He texted he had to step away. I don't know if he's back yet.
Okay. Heather.
Support.
Joe.
Joe Lako, support.
And Levi.
Support.
All right. This one passes. We'll put that me and Kent were the two dissenters,
Yeah.
the rebels.
We all need those, right? We all have to have rebels as part of the group. Usually that's me. That's why I
Okay.
say that. Okay, cool. The next one is 4.12.7.5. Let me pull that one up. Warning stripe at the bottom of bulkhead.
Um, this one, I think, is a good idea. I think we much like underwater stair and bench edges, the bottom of the bulkhead should be identified. And I'm trying to recall, is there anything currently in the MAC? Well, there are a lot of bulkheads that extend, depending on where you place them in the pool. It does have a gap greater than 1.5 inches. You know, you can, if you're moving a bulkhead along the slope floor, it's tough to build to limit it to 1.5 inches unless you have some sort of a movable bottom on it.
I think there's two things that contradict each other in this. The first sentence says the gap can't be less than 1.5, or can't be more than 1.5.
Right.
In the very next thing, it says if the gap is greater than 1.5 of the bottom. So that's not allowed. The first sentence says it's not allowed.
Right.
So do we want to have the bottom of the bulkhead identified no matter what? Because we already said it has to be, the gap can't be greater than 1.5.
Yeah.
And the first part of the new sentence says if it's greater than 1.5, meaning it doesn't come all the way down to within 1.5 inches of the bottom.
Miklos, how have you been addressing this in your bulkhead designs?
That's what I was just looking at, because I feel like we maybe kind of came across this recently. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't design the bulkheads. The bulkheads are already designed. I was just looking to see if there was a contrasting gap.
All right. John Kelly just clarified, the first sentence is the gap to the wall.
The gap to the wall.
The pool wall. Not
okay.
Pool wall. Yep. Okay. I was going to say, like, that seems very hard to do for the reasons you had mentioned, Ken.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks for
okay.
clarifying that, John.
Yeah.
Okay. We are talking the vertical gap.
Yes.
In my opinion, for that vertical gap, you ought to be able to get it within 1.5 inches. And if we're retro commissioning of an existing bulkhead that has bigger than a 1.5 inch gap, I think that it would be reasonable for the jurisdiction to require that contrasting stripe. But I don't think we need to write it into the code and have that conflicting language. I agree with you, Joe.
Wait, sorry, Ken. I think I got lost on that.
Oh, well, I think that this could go into the annex for a jurisdiction who is looking at an existing bulkhead with larger than a 1.5 inch gap to enforce. But I don't think that it needs to be in the code if the code already says you can't do this.
Well, it's the code says to the wall, so
Right.
it's saying to the bottom.
Right. So
the
I see.
To the wall.
The code doesn't really address the gap between the bottom of the bulkhead and the bottom.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so it sounds like in some jurisdictions, it's already, that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, doesn't
Why
seem
would
very
we only want to
revolutionary to me.
identify the bottom of the bulkhead if it's a gap greater than 1.5 inches? What if it's 1 inch? Does it need to be identified? Because we don't care if toes get jammed up in there.
That's a different, I think that, I guess it's a different concern.
Right.
I was
Right.
just thinking, should the bottom be always identified with some kind of marker? And the answer might be no, but I'm just asking the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would think that that it would be reasonable to always identify the bottom of a bulkhead.
Well, again, here, let's, we don't have the time to go through and change a bunch of these CRs. So if we're not gonna, I think we need to discuss it as written.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
if we were to support this, it needs to be two separate lines. One for the walls, the separation between the walls, and leave that as is, shall be no greater than 1.5 inches, because it does lend to a little bit of confusion between the wall and the vertical gap between the bottom of the pool. So this would need to be separated out to a separate. And then I agree with you. I think it should be marked regardless if it's 1.5 inches, if it's 2 feet, it doesn't matter. It should be marked. However big that is, that edge should be marked. But as this CR reads, we don't want to support it as one, or I would say I wouldn't support it as one. It would need to be separated out into two different distinct lines is how I would support it. I agree that it needs to be marked, but as written, it doesn't work. It's confusing. Thoughts on this? Any other discussion?
As written, I think it's a good idea. I think we need more
clarification.
Yeah. And yeah.
I like the idea, but go ahead.
Oh,
I agree.
Are we saying that we're voting this up or down as written
Yes.
because we don't have time to modify it?
Correct.
Okay.
So in this case, I would say not supported. Is there anybody in support of this? Going once, going twice. So not supported. But for the future, I think if we do it, we could separate it out into something and do a future CR for that. And I think that would be good. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was super important. Oh, if we did vote it, if we did to support it, the bulkhead does need to be capitalized because that is something that is defined. So just note on that, we would need to capitalize that. Okay, cool. So that one is not supported as written. Okay, the next one is 4.12.8.10-0001. Let me call that one up. And it's hazards prohibited at spray features. And Kent, I think this one was yours facilitating too, right? We're picking on you today. You and Kevin are picking on today.
And I didn't spend nearly enough time on these. I reviewed all the ones you got to before I got here. But 4.12. Okay. We're proposing adding language that surface sprays shall be flushed with spray pad surface. Spray openings shall have a diameter of 1/2 inch or less. Non-circular spray openings shall have a width of 1/2 inch or less, and above ground features shall not present a tripping hazard. Features shall have no sharp edges, rough surfaces, pinch points, crush, and shearing points, entanglement and impalement hazards, or entrapment hazards. The features shall not be climbable unless there is safety pad. I assume that's supposed to say covering this spray pad surface in the fall zone that complies with ASTM F1292 for fall protection. Above ground features shall be construction of corrosion resistant material or provided with corrosion resistant coating. Accessible spray opening shall have a diameter of a 1/2 inch or less. Non-circular accessible spray opening shall have a width of a 1/2 inch or less. Sarah, can you scroll down to the supporting documentation? Okay. Oh, okay. It looks like
I don't know if I can make that any bigger.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see the proposed language again too, when we have a moment.
Okay.
Let's go back up.
Yeah,
Ready to go back out?
sure.
I'm not as cool as Miklos. I can't do this side screen comparison. Not so fancy as he is. Sorry.
He does a lot more presentations than the rest of us.
Do we have a definition in here of what a fall pad is? Safety pad? Or is it referenced in the ASTM?
That is referenced in the ASTM standard.
What's the critical fall height? Would anything that we put on a spray pad, is that going to fall under CPSC rules anyways? Like, I guess what I'm asking is this stuff necessary? Like, are most spray ground manufacturers already doing this?
Well, I see what John is getting at with this turtle, and I know that there are a lot of features manufactured by Fast that are sitting 2 to 3 feet high and would be climbable.
Right, but is that something that requires a landing pad at that height?
I think I'm not real familiar with the playground standards, but I know that there is a playground standard.
Yeah, either.
Yeah. For landing height and what requires a pad.
I think some of those playground standards can be like, I don't know if it has to be a pad, but I know when you're looking at schools, when we're inspecting schools as a health inspector, it could be like wood chips, which is not applicable in a water environment by any means. So I don't know how they would apply the same. I'm sure there are some rubberized materials or some sort of pad that would work in a water environment, but I think you'd have to be very specific about that also.
Right, that's what I was kind of getting at with my initial question. Are there safety pads designed for water environments? I'm thinking if you just put one down, what kind of stuff's going to grow under there? And what kind of protocols do you have in place to disinfect under there?
Yeah.
Well, and we've been putting pads in shallow water pools for my entire career. At the end of small slides, and I know that the live floor is currently manufacturing a pad for this type of application.
Okay.
So
And-
John mentioned that,
Yeah.
John Kelly mentioned that the CPSC playground standards exclude water play facilities.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think there are some that are manufactured specifically for water play facilities. We would just need to be specific that that's what we're requiring.
Yeah.
I think my thing is I would hesitate to write any standard in here that's one not already from somewhere else, or there hasn't there's not really like a need hasn't really been presented in the supporting documentation.
Right. The supporting documentation is citing the Iowa code, and what's the first one here citing?
That's CPSC
Okay.
like guidelines.
That's CPSC playground standards.
Yeah, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that we probably need more science behind this one.
Yeah, I was thinking I like the intent here, but maybe it's not quite ready for prime time.
I like it. Okay, are we ready to vote? We
Do
only
these
have
ha-
1 minute and 50 seconds left, so we better take a vote, right?
I think do both of these 10-1 and 10-2 have to be voted on together? Are they conjoined twins here?
Oh, maybe.
Or can they be voted upon separately? Because I really like the 10-1 about being flush.
Mm-hmm.
So helps eliminate a tripping hazard.
Yeah, if we're voting on them as written, it needs to be done together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, are we ready for a vote?
Yeah.
Yep.
All of those who are supporting this as written, or anybody that wants to support this as written. Okay, going once, going twice. So this one is not supported as written. But there is definitely some support in the idea and the concept, just maybe some reworking for next time. Cool. All right, the next one, the timer makes so much pressure, Mick. I don't know if I can handle the timer pressure.
The point, your shot clock.
It's my shot clock. Okay. The next one is 4.12.8.3. Let me pull that one up. No steps in surface of wet deck of an interactive water feature or interactive water play venue. Cool.
Is this one still mine, Sarah?
I think so, Ken.
Yeah.
I think you've got us all the way
I think,
out today.
Yeah. Okay.
All you.
Yeah. The interactive water play venue shall be properly sloped that only water from the aquatic features flows back to the interactive water play venue collection tank. There shall be no stairs within the surface of the wet deck at an interactive water play venue. I think I agree with the concept. I think it should get its own section. I think the 4.12.8.3 addresses how water flows into through the surface of the venue, but I don't believe that it is addressing the access to the venue.
I agree. That's a good thought, Kent. It's talking about slope so that the water's not getting back into the collection area. And yes, you want
Right.
to keep the water that's not supposed to be in there out, right?
Right.
But stairs are an entrance to the play venue.
Right. And you know, if there are stairs, I'm thinking that to an interactive water play venue, I think you have some ADA issues there. I've never thought about ever putting stairs into a venue, into a splash pad venue.
But apparently it happens because there's our picture up there. So apparently people have.
Right. I think
Why
I don't say we
wouldn't
never. I
want
don't say we
stairs?
never do, but I'd say it's probably rare that we ever have as well.
right.
We have stairs that go in and out of pools. They
Yeah,
get all
well,
wet.
and that's my thought is that we do have several where we've done like multi-layer like venues. So like you can see this. You can see this one, there's like the bottom level and then the top level, and we've done plenty of those. So whether it's a single step or a stair, you're not always going to be able to slope all of it.
Right. And
In the chat, Levi mentioned that the deck surface shall be of a uniform, easily cleaned, impervious material in a later section. So that's 4.12.8.7.1. So it's talking about the deck surface. He says, to me, this is addressed in this section where the stairs are. We, like you said, the discussion is we do allow stairs in pools. So what would be the difference as long as they are uniform, easily cleaned, impervious material?
I think the difference between wetted decks and pools is you aren't falling into water. You're falling onto a hard surface.
That's very true.
Good point.
Any other comments, thoughts?
Well, we also have to define what a stair is. As I'm looking at that picture there, and it looks like multiple levels. Maybe that little gap in the middle of that elevated level has some stairs in it. So would you allow multiple levels if you don't allow stairs?
Right. Would you allow a single step if you didn't allow stairs?
Right.
Well, and then in looking at the MAC in a later section, the deck area, they even say raised curbs or raised planters as part of the deck area.
So they're already saying that the deck area needs to be raised to keep water.
Yeah, to keep it free from
out.
landscape debris.
Yeah. It doesn't seem very controversial, but I think that this would be more revolutionary if we were to pass it. I think it would create a lot of, maybe not a lot, but it could create some strain, and I don't know whether it's for a good reason or not.
Mhm.
Agreed.
I agree with Kent too, that it's just it doesn't belong in that sloped section.
Good discussion. Again, the timer is like throwing me off here, but do we want to?
Well, we've got like 4 more that we need to get through, so I just want to make sure that we can get through it.
Hey, I think we're making good time today.
We are.
Are we ready for a vote?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in favor of supporting this? That's how we'll go. Does anybody want to support it as written? Going once, going twice. Okay, it is not supported then. That would be the vote.
Okay.
Cool. All right, 4.12.001 and 002. I think they kind of go together. So let's pull that up for you, Kent. And like I said, it's your show today. We've got you.
Yeah. I,
Where do you want me to go?
So this one talks about the waterfalls. The second one talks about rockeries. Just so y'all know.
This is a new section proposed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Waterfall feature may be built at aquatic facilities if the following conditions are met: if located in or adjacent to shallow pool water levels, it must be set back from the edge of a pool, a distance specified in the table below. Exceptions may be made for lifeguarded pools. If located at or adjacent to deep swimming pool water levels, it will be considered a diving platform, and adjacent pool area must conform to diving envelope design specified in the code. Minimum walkway areas required in other sections of this code must be maintained around pools. Water in waterfalls that commingles with pool water must meet water quality and treatment requirements specified in the code. Flows may not create turbulence that might create a safety hazard or reduce visibility in the pool. Waterfalls that flow from pool sidewalls may not exceed 5% of the total pool perimeter. And then they include some setback criteria. I'm
confused on a few of these points.
Yeah.
Letter A must be set back from the edge. Does that mean that the water tumbles over the waterfall over onto the deck away from the edge of the pool? Or does it go into the pool water?
I think we're to meet that that requirement, there would have to be a walkway around under the waterfall around the pool. And we already require a walkway around the entire pool.
I see. So it's not necessarily the place where the water is falling, entering the pool. It's the actual structure itself.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Letter E. What does it mean? Reduce visibility. By how much?
Right.
And how's that measured?
Right. And
I think any kind of water getting poured into a pool is going to create some turbulence, and it's going to reduce visibility. I think it's unavoidable.
Right. And I don't see a waterfall being any different than a water feature that is dropping water in a pool. item D, waterfalls that commingles with pool water, must meet water quality and treatment requirements. I would require, that we're running water from the pool back into the pool, and that it would not be from a different water source.
I agree with you on that, that it should be the pool water that's circulating. What,
Right.
and I think you said it exactly right, is what difference is, what is a waterfall versus a water feature? Like,
Right.
where's the line? Is it because of size? Is it because of drop? I think a definition of a waterfall says it has to drop 5 feet. That's a pretty significant drop. When you're thinking in nature, but what's the difference between a water feature and a waterfall? I think we need to define that.
Right, but what's the difference between this and a mushroom feature that's falling 7 feet?
Right. Yeah. Thoughts? Anybody else?
Is this addressed? Does anybody know in the IS PSC?
I do not know.
Do you happen to know? I doubt it.
I highly doubt it. I have the ISPSC right here, and I'm just looking in the index. It doesn't say anything about waterfalls.
It doesn't. It does not include waterfalls or rockeries.
I think like others, I would need more information. I think we have too many questions at this point. For some of the changes, and it sounds like some of the language might need to be revised anyways.
I like the intent of saying, hey, we have these features, but we need to define those features. If it's not already defined in there as a water feature, or like you said, a mushroom or some type of other feature, we need to make sure that we're very specific about what we're defining. Right. And then we can create guidelines based on what is actually defined. Yeah. So in this case, I think it needs a little bit of work, and we're at crunch time now. So I would say that we're not supporting this, or that would be my vote, is not supported. Yeah. So anybody in favor of supporting this one, go ahead and say your piece. Going once, going twice, again, so not supported. Okay, cool. Again, just because it's not quite defined, it's good ideas, just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Cool. And the next one is rockeries. So I will pull that one up also. What is a rockery? While I'm pulling it up.
I'm hoping that the definition is in here.
It's like a rock feature. So like if you've got decorative rocks either next to the pool, or like we do this a fair bit where we have platform jumps that are built in like a rock configuration. Yeah, so it looks natural. Yeah.
Cool. All right, it's yours, Kent. Take it away.
Do you want me to go through this one?
Sure.
I was reading it while you were doing the other one. So
okay.
Yeah, and everybody, just so you know, we're gonna stop at 2 o'clock. So don't worry if you've got to get to another meeting. We're good. Yeah. We all have a hard stop at 2.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think this is the last one anyways, I believe, right? Or do we have one more?
There's one more.
Yeah, okay. So let's get through this real quick. So it says a rockery is a decorative rock feature. These can be done if the following conditions are met. If located adjacent to shallow swimming pool, water must be set back from the edge of the pool distance specified in table
Mhm.
0912, exceptions may be made for lifeguarded pools. I think the idea behind that is so that they're not used as a jumping platform. I think,
Or a
however,
climbing wall.
Yeah,
or
that's
climbing
just what I was
wall.
gonna say.
Yeah.
However, but for this one, the exceptions can be made for lifeguarded pools. I think that leaves it too open. We don't typically use those kind of terms, right? So, and it says if located at or adjacent to a deep swimming pool level, it'd be considered a diving platform and must conform to diving envelope design. So, but if it's, yeah, so, the A and B kind of contradict itself because like if it's
Mhm.
B and it needs to be set back, but then it also needs to meet diving envelope design, like that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
I get the intent, but like to
Mhm.
have to do both seems like overkill. And then there should be a non-slip surface. That's standard.
Yeah.
To me, I like the other one. I think some of the ideas are good. I think how it's written, I wouldn't be supportive of it as it's written. And to my knowledge, this is being done in the industry already. Now I have seen some like rock features in some facilities that probably not the best placement for like a rock feature and might
Mhm.
create some sort of, fun hazard. But I
Yeah.
think for the most
I've
part,
taken a few out because of that.
yeah. But for the most part, if it's engineered or it's been designed properly, those things are taken into account.
Cool. Any other discussion? Okay. Anybody in support of this one? We'll get the vote done. Anybody in support of this one? Okay. Again, good idea trying to get some narrowing down some of those requirements for these rockeries if they are built. But needs a little bit more work and effort before we put it in. All right, last one for today. Let me pull that one up. It's 4.5.14.1. Cool.
Okay. Handholds provided. We're not otherwise exempted. Every pool shall be provided with handholds, perimeter gutter system, coping, horizontal bars, recessed handholds, cantilever decking around the pool, and at wing walls or peninsulas where the water depth at the wall exceeds 24 inches. As I read this one, I think I think it's covered by the language that's there without the addition of the language.
I agree, Kent.
Mhm.
Of the pool, of the perimeter of the pool, it doesn't matter if it's a wing wall, peninsula, whatever it is, it's
Right.
that perimeter.
Mhm.
I agree.
Cool. Well, let's vote on this one then. Oh no, let's open it up to any other discussion. Any other
Right.
discussion? Any other thoughts? Hearing none. Anybody in support of this one?
Yeah, Joe's saying so the wing walls. Wing wall is not considered the perimeter of the pool. So the wing walls
Explicitly separated out from the perimeter?
I don't know if you could say explicitly, but is I'm looking up the wing wall definition right now. If anyone has it handy, feel free to give me the page.
So in 4.8.1.6.1.1, it says used by lifeguards, a wing wall or peninsula greater than 18 inches wide but less than 48 inches may be used as by a qualified lifeguard personnel, but shall not be considered as part of the perimeter deck.
Okay.
I agree with the intent.
If it is included?
Yeah. What was that, Joe? I'm sorry.
I said, does it hurt anything if this new language is included? I mean, does it pose some kind of increased risk, or does it add some kind of, extra safety?
I think that that the intent is in the right place. And when I'm designing wing walls and peninsulas, I put a handhold there anyway.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is
right.
Are wing walls ever constructed not to have, coping?
I'm guessing they are, or he wouldn't have submitted it.
Yeah, it might be.
But he didn't include any supporting documentation with this one.
And Joe, I think you're right. I don't think it hurts to put it in there. I don't know that it's necessary, but I don't think it hurts anything. So either way, we could include it or not.
Yeah, and thinking about this a little bit more, I would be in support of it.
Yeah, I would too. I'm okay with it.
Well, and looking at the MAC at 48163 says wing walls and peninsulas are considered part of the pool.
Okay.
Part of the pool, but not part of the perimeter.
Part of the pool perimeter.
Pool perimeter is the title of that section.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I still don't think it hurts, especially if someone wants to try to reference another section to not have it.
There's the MAC there.
Perimeter over.
So it's considered part of the pool perimeter, but shouldn't be counted for calculating the pool perimeter. But it says it is part of the pool perimeter, so I think to me it seems like it should have.
Yeah, wing walls and peninsulas shall be considered part of the pool, calculating.
Well, you know what?
I think that what that means is it's not considered part of the perimeter, but it's included as part of the surface area of the water. Unless it's 48 inches or bigger.
So I think to me it sounds like that the handhold would be required for these anyways. And because we're having to discuss it so much, maybe it's good to put a little redundancy in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anything to add it.
I don't think so either.
No.
I'd support it.
Cool.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All right. Anybody that does not want to support it? Going once, going twice. This one is supported. I love how this whole conversation, because when we first started that conversation, we're like, no, it doesn't need it. We don't need it. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, it kind of does. So that one is supported. That's the last one.
Great job, everybody.
Wow,
Okay. What do we do with our extra 3 minutes here?
Go catch up on work so we can meet again
on Wednesday.
we talk about snickerdoodles that Heather's going to make us all.
You're gonna have to fight my 12-year-old nephew for that.
I'm game. I think I could take him. Just kidding.
He's pretty scrappy. He's pretty scrappy.
I have a 16-year-old. I get it.
He's got a 15-year-old brother and an 18-year-old sister, so he's good.
He's scrappy. I love it.
Thank you everybody for your time today.
Okay.
For the extra session. Please make sure you go through and vote on that electronic summary sheet that I sent out. I don't believe we have everyone's yet. Yes, there is a meeting on Wednesday. We will meet Wednesday, regular time. But again, another extended, so it'll go 2 hours. Give me or Sarah a call if you have any questions. But thank you all, everybody, for your time. Sarah, do you have a minute to hang on? I do. Questions. Cool.
Is there an update on what the next ones to be discussed are? It may be running together in my emails, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So the next one is regularly scheduled, so that should be on the spreadsheet that I sent out, but I can resend it. It also should be on the CMAC website. All of the dates for now have been updated with the schedule. Okay, right, cool. So yeah, Wednesday is not listed on the website, but it should be. I'll make sure that it gets listed on there. So we do have a meeting Wednesday. I'll send those CRs out to everybody just to double check.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yep.
Do we have a date where we will actually be talking about the artificial swimming lagoons?
Yes, that's in one of these additional ones. Yep. Yeah, we'll send those out.
Okay.
Miklos, if you could let me know which one that is, we've got some CDC folks that need to be on that.
Okay. Yep.
And then Grace, just quick, are you good with entering your evaluation, your TRC evaluation?
Actually, you know what? When you click through it, it made sense. And then when I try to click through it, I don't have that button. I don't think.
Okay, I'll send you a link that will have it on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that last link you sent out, Sarah, was very helpful.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Okay, I'll send a link, Grace, so that you'll have that button and make sure it's there.
Hey, just so y'all know, we ran into a coding issue with the website. So when I closed the CRs for submission and comments, that also closed the ability for TRC members to enter evaluations. So Grace, that's probably why you weren't seeing the button.
Yes, that is exactly right. It says it's closed, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
I changed that last week. We're still working on the coding issue, but I just clicked the buttons to reopen everything to be able to do the evaluations.
Okay, thanks, Dewey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. And then Grace, I can meet after. I'll send you an invitation, and then you can jump off, and then I'll send you an invitation. We can meet a little bit later. Does that work?
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Or I'll give you a call. One of the two. We'll touch bases somehow.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Kent. Take care. And thanks for letting me put you on the spot. You and Kevin and Grace. It was your show today. I appreciate you guys all coming prepared and doing the thing. So I like it.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.
See you guys.
Thanks for the good work, all. Miklos, do you need me to hang out with you and Sarah, or?
Yeah, if you want, let's go ahead. I'm going to stop recording.